Well, howdy, this is Arthur Morris, and I am here in Evergreen, Colorado, photographing all sorts of songbirds with my friend and former student, Anita North. And she's traveled the world for the last 10 years making great images of nature. We met on a cruise in the Southern Ocean. That was my office. I had a nice plug there. And Anita had saved an eagle up at her fishing camp at Basket Lake, Ontario. I've caught a lot of walleye there. And she had this eagle, Eddie, she named him Eddie, and he broke his left wing. And Anita fed him fish for 4 months, and he survived. Anita?
How a bird can change your life more than a man. And Eddie was a very special turning point in my life. And he was the reason I bought a camera, because I saw a show from Decorah that said that a lot of Canadian eagles die in migration from electrocution. So I bought a camera and I looked in photo books to see a trip, and that's where I met Arthur to learn how to run the camera, to get a picture of him in case he never returned. And he graced my life for 10 years, and he raised 2 families, and he hasn't returned to Basket Lake for the last 2 years, and it's a great emptiness. And I thank and salute the role that Eddie played in my life.
And after we met, Anita's been on about 20 instructional photo tours, and boy, you'll see what a great photographer she is. She has had some loons up at Basket Lake, amazing photographs. The last few years with global warming and the changing water levels, the loons have split. This bear comes to her camp every year to eat dandelions. How beautiful. Anita's been to Florida with me a bunch, and it's amazing how many times in the same situation she makes better images than me. Here she shot the long way on a little concrete wall and got a superb shot of laughing gull courtship feeding. An underlooked bird, overlooked, laughing gull, beautiful. With Sony, like me, she's excelled at flight. This is an osprey with a black crappie, beautiful, sharp. She loves going to Watchie. And where is that?
Just southwest of Churchill, where the denning sites are, where the females come in for about 40 kilometers
and
inland.
She'll go there for 2 or 3 weeks in hopes of seeing the polar bears come out of the den. Some years you can go 2 weeks and not see a bear. So she's made some amazing pictures, as good as you get. Oh. And the temperature with the bears is usually around -40. But at night it gets below -50. And Anita did this amazing double exposure. So the trees in the front row are the same as the trees in the back row. She loves going down to the Southern Ocean, Falklands. Go ahead.
South Georgia, Shetland Islands, Antarctic Peninsula. Wow.
Leopard seal. And one day I opted not to go in any zodiac. I went in another zodiac, and she got this amazing shot of a leopard seal finishing up swallowing a penguin of some sort. And the giant petrels were going for the scraps. We made it to
Snow
Hill Island in Antarctica for the emperor penguins. More
South
giant
Georgia.
petrels, that's on South Georgia. Another one, Anita's got a beautiful eye for composition and image design. Right from the beginning, she was able to make sharp pictures. A great eye for humor, elephant seals. Just amazing stuff at Volunteer Point on the Falklands this year. King penguins. How'd you get this one?
Standing there for a very long time.
So this is from shore?
Yep, from shore.
And this is the rookery at Saunders?
Yes, it is. And they're
Beautiful.
just all coming up, and they all gather before they make their final trek up to the colony, which is to your far left.
So most people think of bird photographers and nature photographers as using long focal length lenses, but notice how many images Anita makes with shorter focal lengths, 24, 70, 200, etc. Beautiful. 200 millimeter lens, black-browed albatross, getting fed, and you can notice the eggshell.
This
in
was
the back.
well worth the 3 days sitting by this nest. I saw a little pip in the eggshell that you see in the back, and it came out. It's wet, and the only reason this albatross is on land is to have this chick, one chick a year with the same mate, and they're loyal to their nest.
Blue-eyed shag chick, peeking out from mother's feathers. One of my favorite of Anita's images, silvery grebe. We were somewhere, I think, in the Falkland Islands.
Yes, and this was at Sea Lion, where they had a large pond by the lodge, which is sadly all dried up now.
And Anita went off by her own and came back with the winner. Johnny Rook on a sand beach, black-browed albatross. And she loves using a short lens mounted on a cage on a stick. Don't ask me how she does it, but this is typical of what she can do. She's been to Costa Rica for the king vultures. That's on my bucket list, and that's a young one. What's the focal length here?
24 to 70. And this was taken between my tripod legs. And do you remember when the guide said that today they're going to come close to feed their cubs because there was the wolves up on the cliff? And the mothers have incorporated us humans into their life cycle because they can lay down, and the little cub, and you can tell it's a yearling because of the white rim around its neck, she'll bring the cubs right to you.
And was that Chuck Kime?
Yeah.
We had a
What
lot
a-
of
what a
we had
guy.
a lot of fun.
What a guy. And this is, do you remember this, Arthur, when we were lying in the snow?
Anita's been on a bunch of my Homer trips. We have
Yes.
one opening for this year coming up.
And those juveniles are just challenging their parents. I can relate to that.
Denmark, black grouse, courtship. Capercaille, singing. It's huge bird with razor-sharp talons and those back claws. And
Very territorial. You remember when the guide had to put a bough of evergreen between
yeah,
us?
this bird
'cause
was
he wanted
attacking
to get rid of
Anita.
me because I was too low on the ground.
and our guide had a bough of a tree and beat him off.
Well, I didn't beat him off. He just,
This is from Denmark. Bridled myrrh, incredible picture in soft light.
no, this is in Norway.
Norway. What did I
went
say?
out-
Denmark?
Yeah, Denmark.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Norway.
went out to the island, the bridled,
Several times.
and this is their mating.
Greater prairie chicken from a trip with our friend Kevin Heiss to South Dakota. And Anita loves action, and she's damn good at it. Kill me. She's been to Galapagos several times. Not as many as me, but several.
Now this, can we go back for a
Sure.
sec? It's hard to imagine that this creature is over 100 years old, and some of them at least 200 years old. These
Soon
are
he-
the giant tortoises in
Soon he's
Galapagos.
going to catch up to me.
Yeah. You're almost as wrinkled as him. No.
At Hood Island, the mockingbirds, the young ones,
Darwin
In
was
summer-
fascinated by these birds because of their interactions.
fighting all the time.
Oh, this is
These
This
are
is
ghost
amazing.
crabs on
but
Rabida.
they make 3 to 4 holes as they go out. In the tide withdraws, and they have to jump from hole to hole to get back to land. And they have these big mammoth fights as to whose hole it is.
Well, I was sitting right next to Anita, and I missed that one.
So this is a threatened species.
Ground iguana? What do you
No,
call it? Land
land
iguana.
iguana.
The big gold. That's beautiful. And one thing Anita has learned from me
Well,
is white sky exposures, which most people have no idea about. Beautiful job. Japan.
This we have to be thankful for. This beautiful, the world's largest eagle is in two places, in the peninsula in northern Russia and the tip of Japan, Hokkaido. And it's a fisherman that save bycatch, freeze it and feed it to them in the winter when they come south for migration, or they'd be off of planet Earth. Similarly, in Japan, they support the snow monkeys to help them through the winter. Oh. So
Phenomenal.
when people say don't feed animals, sometimes we're going to have to. Oh. Sadly, the Inca tern is so beautiful, but it too this is on the coast just south of Santiago. But Arthur, there was a big
this is Peru.
Sorry, there's
We
a
went
big
to Lima, Peru.
There was a big landslide on that cliff where we photographed this, and the colony is not there now. They've moved somewhere.
We went to Cayman Brac with our friend Andrew McLaughlin and climbed on the limestone cliffs, and you better hope you don't fall down. Brown
And this
booby.
is a courting behavior. You test. The female have the pink eye and the male the blue. You'll see if we could zoom in. And they grab their bill when they're flying in.
Hard to see the eye color.
Yeah. And so this is a trust thing. It's like eagles and their talons entwined.
Oryx in Namibia. Beautiful use of backlight in India. What
and
are
they're
the
getting
animals?
totally intoxicated because you see the fruit that they're feeding each other. This is the lowest they come when that fruit, and it's got high alcohol
What are the
content.
monkeys?
Oh,
Remember? No.
I will in a sec. No, I don't.
Anita spends a couple of months a year, most years, the last few years, in Africa. That's my favorite. Amazing. To be loved. Cheetah. Leopard. She had incredible luck with timing one year with the wildebeest birthing. There's your birds' art. Gray crown. What is this? Gray crown crane? Beautiful.
Golden crown crane. Golden crested crane. And this is the national bird of Uganda. That's where I got this. They're beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I took 5 million shots to get this. The weaver is doing his nest, and to get him when he comes out, and he's doing it to attract a female. And this nest disappeared the next morning. And I said, Felix, that was my guide, the nest is gone. What happened? He said he tore it apart because the female came in and didn't like it and flew off. So he tore it apart and started again. You know, what can you say?
With going to Sony the last few
Yes.
years, we've both enjoyed flight and action photography, African jacana, and just a simple picture of a black-bellied bustard. But for me, it's the background. Makes me think I'm by the pier at Indian Lake Estates. From a helicopter,
Yep.
200 lens, 70 to 200, flamingos, and these lakes are disappearing rapidly.
They are. This is in the upper end of the Rift Valley, and all these colors that you're seeing is because of the alkaline nature and the different bacteria and that are in the lakes. And this is very, very rare to get a giraffe with its young.
Cleaning the
Yes.
baby with its tongue. Amazing.
They keep-
Notice the beautiful framing, sharpness, depth of field, exposure.
And this is a black rhino. You know, a video would have been better by far. But anyway, this little baby it kept kicking the mom to wake it up. It's a black rhino. And here we have the family.
Anita's favorite animal on earth, pretty much, besides the departed Eddie.
Well, they live by the adage, it takes a village. All those are the aunties, aren't they? They all take care of each other.
And notice the different focal lengths. You know, long focal length here, pretty
It
tight.
can be hard, like for elephants
beautiful
and human
framing.
babies, to find the teat. So the mother is trying to help it.
Then on the ground with a wide angle lens, and throw in a swallow for good measure. But I critique it by saying the swallow's flying away slightly.
I don't like the head angle.
Yeah. Is this 1200 millimeters?
Yes.
Spectacular. Just
But
spectacular.
that's their greeting. They're loving to be together. Oh, this young one, people don't realize it takes several years for an elephant to control the thousands of muscles in that trunk. And he's practicing.
I love this one more than Anita. And finally, the last frame. Anita's favorite living animal on the planet is Craig, and I'll let
Yeah,
her tell you.
I will tell you. Craig is, they think now, is the oldest, largest giant tusker that is on planet Earth. There's only a handful. I'm talking about maybe 25 or so giant tuskers because they don't live long enough to grow their tusks to the ground. And Craig, you can see he's got this big indentation on his forehead, loss of muscle in the top. And it's thought by his appearance he's on his last set of teeth. So he probably doesn't have that many more years. And the reason he's still around is that the villagers that live around Amboseli Park love him, and they put someone with him 24 hours a day, every day of the year, every year on year.
With a rifle to protect them from the poachers.
And so he has been, you might say he's been habituated in a sense, but he's protected. And I was lying within about 20 feet of him on the ground and pointing it up, and he walked by, and you can see the angle of his gaze down at you. And it's a testament to the villagers that care about him. And sadly, within the last month, two or three more of the giant tuskers were poached. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. Anita, would you like to say a parting shot?
Yes. A shot? A shot over the bow. Yes, I'd like to thank you for all you've taught me. And this isn't a plug. This is the absolute truth. I've done a lot of traveling since I met Eddie. And Arthur, you were my first contact with the world of photography. And I've been with many people, and now I do a lot of traveling alone, and I'm always the happiest when I'm traveling with you, and we're having such a great time. And I feel very blessed.
Well,
Thank
Anita
you.
obviously has been a great student. She's obviously worked very hard, and I'm very proud of her.
Yeah.
See you out there.
Thank you.